Let us now proceed to the next topic, which is the reading the Filipino values at work. The Filipino has a great and long history of seafaring and navigation. Early chronicles of Philippine history describe the Filipinos as brave seafarers. Even before the coming of Spanish colonizers, the Filipino coastal people were known to have rich lands beyond the horizons. The Philippines, a maritime archipelago with more than 7,000 islands, stretches across 1,100 miles of ocean. It is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, the China Sea, the Sulu, and Celebes Sea. This geographical location makes its people, the Filipinos, at home at sea. To date, the Filipinos' image as a skillful seafaring people remains as respected as ever. Filipino seamen rank high as manpower resource because of the country's long history as the maritime nation. Even before the Spanish galleons came to the island in 1521, maritime commerce was already established between Filipinos, Muslims, and Chinese traders. Subsequent strong historical ties to Spanish or to Spain from Spain for 300 years and America for 50 years have given the Filipinos not only a culture enriched by both the East and the West, but also an educational system with English as the medium of instruction, allowing the country to offer seamen known for their ability to adapt to foreign cultures. The Filipino seamen, properly trained and developed, values honor and integrity, as well as respect for and obedience to elders and authority. Properly motivated, he has a remarkable drive to excel. This trait is mostly inspired by the family, which is the strongest institution. In order to give their loved ones the best, Filipinos are willing to work long hours, endure loneliness, sacrifice personal comfort, and be responsible and dedicated workers. Masters and officers must take the necessary administrative processes to answer the expectations and value systems of the Filipino seaman. It is of utmost importance to complement his crying needs with a task of administrative process. Crying needs of Filipino seamen are as follows. It requires information. The Filipino seaman needs information and understanding of the company's goal, policies and procedures, rules and regulations. Number two, the Filipino needs opportunity or seek for the opportunity. The Filipino seaman is silently asking for an opportunity to apply his ingenuity and solidarity in the service of the company. Imagination, ingenuity, and creativity in the solution of company problems are needed by him. Number three, seafarers seek to help if deficient. The Filipino seaman may be deficient either in proper knowledge or skills related to his job. Thus, he needs help in these areas. Number four, seafarers measures criteria standard of performance. The Filipino seaman needs to be shown the objective criteria or standard of performance required of him. And the last one, rewards. The Filipino seaman expects a proper reward or remuneration for the task he has perfectly done. If this expectation of reward for a good work done is frustrated, he is capable of doing anything. Let us now proceed to administrative task. Number one, communicate. Masters and officers should inform the seafarer about the corporate goals, policies and procedures, rules and regulations, impressing on him their importance and the management urgent need for cooperation. A Filipino will exercise self-direction and self-control if motivated towards certain goals. Number two, challenge. Masters and officers should challenge the Filipino seaman rallying to the company's objectives. Management should look upon him as imaginative and a potential force for the company's well-being. It should challenge rather than push the Filipino seaman to achieve the company's objectives and to observe its rules and regulations, policies, and procedures. Number three, care. Masters and officers should ascertain the individual's training needs and elicit his views. They should offer their help and do so willingly by offering him training and development. Number four, control. Masters and officers should devise a control system with adequate performance standards. It must objectively and uniformly implement and apply the standard of performance to all the individuals in the organization. And the last one, compensate. Commitment is a function of rewards associated with achievement. Masters and officers should think of a system of rewarding objectively good work and performance. By nature, Filipinos are industrious and hardworking. Filipino seamen in general are lively people. Most bachelors are happy-go-lucky, adventurous, and extrovert. Only few of them belong to the silent type. On board, they consider themselves as one family and would prefer the chain of command. Due to this created family atmosphere on board, the Filipino seamen in general are not very particular with etiquette and manners, in which we are now tackling in the next lesson on understanding the Filipino seaman's work ethics. In these lessons, the Filipino seaman is generally a very kind, smiling, and always polite person. These characteristics may be misunderstood by the Western seamen as attested by a Western officer in one of the multicultural seminars we conducted in Oslo, Norway. To quote, while a longshoreman had respect or at least did as they were told by a Norwegian junior officer, we see again and again that most longshoremen seldom pay any attention to what he is told by a Filipino junior officer. We have told them over and over that this does not work and that they better quit smiling and start to talk to the longshoremen in the manner they understand, but so far without any luck. Okay? At least most of them have quit bending down or kneeling when they pass between two of their superiors, as they used to do in the beginning. We understand this is due to their tradition, and it is with respect a good thing to bring along, but not very useful at sea. They are so friendly and family-like in relation with each other that you many times wonder who is in charge when you visit the bridge or another workplace. The basis of Filipino behavior are the following system. Number one, kinship system. To this system is the Filipinos' basic social and moral commitment. Number two, compadre or godfather system. This system dictates that any good relationship must be treated in a kin-like manner. Number three, family system. The more family-like the relationship between two persons, the better is the relationship. Number four, lineage training. Lineage tracing. Common origin, whether place or family name including namesakes, is a way of establishing good relationship. And number five, malas swerte system. The Filipino believes in destiny, which can be good or bad one. He is not oriented to manipulate directly to his own capacities and potential and those of the social environment. He is trained to view some special forces as capable of controlling his behavior, powerless to do anything about them. Among Filipinos, when a friend no longer intrudes into one's affair, he is considered as socio-psychologically distant. He is or becomes of no values to them or walang kwentang tao. The following are the features of Filipino behavior. Number one, personalism. Generally, Filipinos do not separate task and emotional involvement. They harmonize professionalism and personalism at work. They caution whatever unpleasantness may be caused by reprimand. The superiors are addressed as kuya, the title of respect for eldest brother, or ate, the title of respect for eldest sister, or tito, the title of respect for an aunt for your uncle, no? Or tita for auntie. And number two, intrusion. Filipinos try to discover the reasons of an individual action. This value awakens to Filipinos pagmamalasakit or sense of belongingness to the company, pakikialam or concern for others. The Filipino expects a show of deep personal concern for him and his family from his superiors and colleagues. Number three, submissiveness. Filipinos have willingness to accept commands without questioning. They are willing to accept orders from those in authority. They look up to their superiors and leaders for support and are willing to allow others to make decisions for them. They are very respectful and are always good listeners before an authority figure. They hardly speak out of their minds nor actively participate in deliberation unless insisted to do so. They are not likely to engage in any confrontation with those in authority, regardless of whether they feel they have a right to raise issues and challenge them. And number four, privacy. The Filipino is often not given enough opportunity to experience being left to himself and free from intrusion of others. Thus, the borderline between what is private and public is unclear. Alfredo and Grace Rosas observe that the apostle meant to Westerners has been contradictions of concerning private and public affairs of Filipinos. Culture shock in the Philippines. Singapore, Times Book International, 1995. No? Filipinos, for example, as guests do not simply stay in the living room, but freely move around the house. Also, Filipinos find shortcuts by cutting through a private space to get to their destination in the fastest way. Children play in their neighbor's private property. Filipinos are always personally clean and well-groomed. Their houses and garden well tended and attractive, while outside the house, garbage is strewn on the sidewalks adjacent to the house gates. Yun. A similar phenomenon was observed by the Western captain on Filipino seamen, to quote, "We are not always satisfied with the order our Filipino crew keep lockers and stores. We do especially have the hard time to get them to keep their change room in order. But it will be unfair to say that all Filipinos are untidy. They keep their cabins spotless and do not even use shoes inside their cabins and or common rooms. They use only sleepers. Filipinos like to be clean and wear nice clothes. At least we think so after they have worn out several machines since they took over. You can go into the laundry room and find the machines going day and night." More often than not, Filipinos do not think of public space as being shared community asset which must be cared for and respected by all. While stealing and robbery is considered immoral and a crime, borrowing and sharing are rampant. Traditional Filipino kinship patterns developed an attitude about helping oneself to a family member's goodies. Sharing is a custom. The Filipino value of sakop makes public and private properties assume a communal dimension. In the Philippines, public property belongs to no one. Rather, the user of public property appears to regard it as his own personal property. The Filipinos, for example, who have a strong sense of sakop property, consider things borrowed or shared what Westerners considered stealing or pilfered. For the average Filipino seaman, high income is generally not the ultimate motivation. The ultimate achievement imaginary is knowing that this family is enjoying a decent house and lot to live on, a good education for his children, possibly up to college level, and an adequate savings for their future retirement. Work to him is only a means to an end. Genuine concern of masters and officers for his family motivates a Filipino seaman to give his best. He works hard for an officer who boasts his self-worth. Gesture of personal concern and attention might even be more valued by him underpaid with productivity or call it loyalty. Utang na loob or sense of gratitude is a way of life for him. He will not abuse your goodness as long as you give him feedback in the right way, in the right place about this desirable and undesirable behavior. Family of a Filipino seaman is his most prized possession. During birthdays, Christmas, deaths, receiving a card is very appreciated. Let's proceed to how to harness the positiveness of Filipino values for productivity, quality, safety, and security. Safety is a combination of factors such as quality of vessel, quality of personnel, both on board and ashore, and quality of management control systems. With regard to the quality of personnel, it requires the understanding of the interrelation of several components such as solid leadership, work motivation, cultural consideration, and available workforce. It is important to find the right ship, the right leader for the right incentive program, for the right motivation and initiative. The following positive Filipino values can be harnessed to achieve productivity from Filipino seamen. Number 1, utang na loob or reciprocity. Makes the Filipino seaman reciprocate loyalty and productivity when he feels that the management and his superiors are really after his good and that of his family. Number 2, personalism motivates the Filipino seaman to be productive. When the goals of the company are in harmony with his personal goals, he must be convinced that there is a connection between the productivity in his personal career progress. Number 3, respect for authority. Out of father-son like relationship, the Filipino seaman does his best to attain productivity standards as management has commanded. Number 4, euphemism. Indirect criticism such as teasing makes the Filipino seaman accept corrections and improve his work by better work methods. It is by presenting light-heartedly without hurting the feeling of the Filipino seaman that a productivity tip gets the point across. Number 5, go between. These values can go along with the productivity technique called feedback by consultation to get suggestions, and they have a lot of good ideas but too shy to present them directly for fear of rejection. Number 6, social acceptance. This value can go along with a productivity technique called personality matching to develop teamwork and group loyalty for productivity. And last, number 7, pakinabang, mahanginan, maambunan, maarawan, or benefit sharing. Sharing the benefits of increases in productivity equitably would dovetail well with the Filipino seamen. Thus, in exchange for efforts of the seamen to improve the company's performance, they should be given equitable shares of the resulting income increases. There are several negative Filipino values that can impede productivity. Extreme personalism leads to hesitation to innovate or introduce positive change when people close to Filipino seamen may get hurt, or when people who started and nurtured the present obsolete system are still around. Adaptability to various situations leads Filipino seamen to adopt rather than rock the boat, speak out, or initiate change or innovate. Negative religious sorry, negative religiosity leads to negative bahala na, positivity and lack of initiative and resignations to the status quo. Filipinos' cyclical time orientation tends towards the past, leading to the tradition for the sake of tradition, superstitions or pamahiin, and noong unang panahon, the good old days syndrome. Yeah? And to utilize the positiveness and eliminate the negativeness of Filipino values for productivity, there is a need for, number one, norms enhancement. Number two, values redirection. Number three, compromise approach that takes both program objectives and Filipino seamen's work, culture, and belief. And number four, adapting to Filipino culture norms but redirecting or rechanneling this into more positive gains for the company and for the Filipino seamen. The following positive Filipino values can be harnessed for quality management. Number one, kahiyaan. Being committed because of fear of being put to shame. This makes the Filipino seaman give his best no matter how much sacrifices it requires him. Number two, kagalingan or excellence. In his desire to excel, the Filipino seaman makes his work excellent, both in quality and quantity. Number three, kahusayan or competence. Makes the Filipino seaman master his job to show to his officer or officers his competence. Number four, pagpupuno sa kakulangan or initiative to fill up what is wanting in others. Makes the Filipino seaman help his colleagues gain from his knowledge and practical experience out of self-fulfillment in knowing that he has shared his talents with others. Number five, amor propio or self-respect. Motivates the Filipino seaman to achieve and maintain quality due to fear of losing face and prestige. Number six, napasubo or commitment. Makes a Filipino stonewall his commitment to quality when he is publicly committed to stand and can no longer back out of that position. And last, number seven, delicadeza or nobility oblige. Makes the Filipino seaman achieve quality as a built-in self-imposed sense of what is proper behavior and decorum. This value is very acceptable to Filipino seamen who have nationalistic virtues. The Filipino seaman, however, should be forewarned against the following negative values that can adversely affect quality. Okay lang mentality, just right. Medyo tama mentality, more or less correct. Pasado na or boundary mentality that will get by. Katamtaman lamang mentality, just enough. Pwede na rin mentality, not bad. Pagtatakip sa kakulangan, cover up for the mistake or accident committed by the fellow seaman. Baka makalusok mentality might not be caught. Kapa-kapa or kapa-kapa mentality being unsystematic, and malas mentality attributing errors and accidents to fate. The following positive Filipino values can be harnessed for safety and security. Number one, family or pamilya makes the Filipino seaman consider his company as his second family and cares for his fellow seaman as he would care for his own family members at home. Safety does not happen. It is the reward of care, thought, and good organization. Number two, pagka-maalam or knowledge makes the Filipino seaman anxious to know all the rules of safety that apply to his work, encourages him to ask information from his chief officer, reads the company's instruction manuals and safety guides, and asks questions when in doubt. Number three, sigurista or being always certain makes the Filipino seaman anticipate the risk that may arise from changes in equipment or methods. Encourages the Filipino seaman to make use of the expert safety advice that is available to help him guard against such new hazard. This value makes him know the precautions to take and be aware of the particular characteristics of flammable and toxic vapors. To be able to avoid risk, you must know what they are. Number four, chismis, grapevine, makes the Filipino seaman discuss with his fellow seafarers the hazards of their work. Number five, malasakit or concern, encourages the Filipino seaman to instruct his fellow seafarers to work safely as he would guide and counsel his own family at home with persistence and patience. Number six, pagkamakulit or persistent following up makes the Filipino seaman follow up safety, tipping consistently, and see to it that his fellow seafarers make use of the safeguards provided them. Number seven, gaya-gaya or imitation makes the Filipino seaman set a good example and demonstrate safely his own work habits and personal conducts, especially if they are officers. This value encourages him to fulfill his responsibility to represent the crew with maturity to foreign officers and to project the best in Filipinos while developing positive relationship with Western officers as professionals. It makes him lead positively. Number 8, pagka-mitikuloso or being detail-oriented makes the Filipino seaman investigate and analyze every accident, however light, that befalls any of his men and makes him aware that where minor injuries go unheeded, crippling accident may later strike. And the last, number 9, balikatan or shouldering a common burden together makes the Filipino seafarers cooperate fully with those in the ship who are actively concerned with safety with dedicated purpose to keep all of them fully able and on the job and to cut down the heavy personal toll of accident. This value makes them understand that danger can always be present in the ship, although most of the risk have been removed by strictly following instructions of their officer or officers. The Filipino seaman, however, should be encouraged to imitate the following negative values that may cause unsafe behavior leading to accidents and ensure macho mentality or feeling of male superiority, pakitang tao or show off, bida complex, feeling of being a superstar, pabaya, negligence, tapusin ka agad, mahilig sa shortcut, burara, disorder, no? And madaling masusulan or being easily persuaded to do something wrong or unsafe acts, no? Those examples of negative values of Filipino seafarers. We are through with the lesson reading the Filipino values at work, and I am hoping that all of you may learn something from the Filipino seamen's values at work. And the next lessons we will covering the managing conflicts and solving problems with Filipino seamen. So don't go away and tune up. Thank you.